I think we have two problems now. Yesterday, the bigger issue was about that assaults, very dastardly. We should not continue to hear these reports in a
Sure.
democracy. And democracy where you have a constitution that fully guarantees the rights of the journalist and actually gives the journalist an onerous obligation to report the things that the people ought to know, according to Article 21, 1F. People have a right to know, and their right to know, remember, the people are the sovereign, beyond whom there is no power. The powers of government, according to the Constitution, are supposed to be exercised for and on behalf of the people and for their welfare. And the people have a right to know. That is why the journalist is there, to bring the events and the developments within the realm to the people who are the custodians of sovereign power. The Constitution continues to then clothe the journalists the right to do the work they do, and provides in Chapter 12 full array of protections that they are supposed to enjoy to hold the accountability and responsibility of the government to the people, and to not to be subjected to any criminal punishment for doing their work, including their editorial opinions. Now, if this officer is still at post, that should be our bigger worry. That he is deemed qualified as a public relations officer for a public institution, and in the full glare of the ocular proof of the assaults, the dastardly conduct of officers of the Ghana National Fire Service, he will say the things he says clearly shows that he's not fit to be in that office. So this morning, my expectation is to hear from the Ghana Fire Service, if they want to show that they are very responsible, is to indict this officer, interdict him, and put him through discipline, and perhaps find some refresher course for him to go through to learn to do his work as a PR. No journalist is required by any law, not the Constitution and not any statute, not any practice, international or local, to seek consent to film or record or gather information that is in the public. The development was in the public space. There were many people you saw gathering around and seeking to see what was going on. All of those people had a right to film what was going on without any interference. And the journalist had an elevated right to do that. He did not need any permission. And even if he had done wrong, nobody had the right to lay their hand on him, because even law enforcement does not have the right to beat and assault suspects of crime. Now, is it the case that in their attempt to prevent the journalists from filming, which was a wrong thing in the first place, the journalists refused, and having deemed it as a wrong, they attempted to effect an arrest, even if a citizen's arrest. They attempted to effect a lawful arrest, and this journalist was uncooperative. And if he was uncooperative, what they had to do was what they did. It's absolutely barbaric, and it should not be entertained, not in this republic. And to think that they had the guts and they dared to seize the journalist recording device even the police, when they are dealing in law enforcement, our courts have pronounced over and again, and I've led people to court over these matters, and the courts have pronounced over and again that unless the item you intend to seize is evidence of crime, you cannot be seizing it. And even if you seized it as part of evidence of crime, you need an order of the court to access the item. Either it's a laptop or it's a phone. You don't have the right to breach the privacy of the individual by accessing the content of the phone. So at every turn, this was criminal. This was wrong. And I think we ought to be hearing from the leadership of the fire service in a more direct manner. And this guy should not be allowed to get close to any microphone at this time.